local maker who started really small and grew into a global business. Daphne's Head Covers.
First of all, what's the logo on your shirt?
Oh, it's Frank.
It's what?
Frank, head cover.
And well, the purveyor of maybe the most famous head cover company on the planet.
Jane Spicer was only 16 years old when she started Daphne's Head Covers.
You'll see them on the clubs of some of the biggest names in golf.
So much fun, every imaginable configuration you can think of at Daphne's Head Covers.
I'm Jane Spicer, and I'm the CEO of Daphne's Head Covers. Daphne's Head Covers makes animal golf club covers and novelty golf club covers. We're in over 75 countries, and in April we're celebrating our 46th year of business.
Upon welcoming us into the factory, Jane introduces us to a wall outside her office that is covered in news articles, signed photographs, and collections of famous golfers who have used Daphne's Head Covers. She tells us stories of hilarious photo shoots and all of the people she's been fortunate enough to meet over the years. Next, she guides us to the factory where 4 employees are hard at work arranging fabrics and organizing head covers. Hundreds of sealed boxes await shipping to over 75 countries around the world. The walls are stacked floor to ceiling with every design imaginable, from a goldfish to a polar bear to a colorful hot dog. Some designs are made specifically for certain events or causes, such as the giraffe, which was used to raise money for building wells in Africa.
I come from a sailing family, so when I was 10, I asked my mom, Daphne, our company's namesake, for a sailboat, and she said, think of a business and earn it yourself. So I said, let's do stuffed toys, and she taught me how to make them. I'd make enough to fill a garbage bag and then walk up and down the street and sell them to neighbors, and I ended up buying the 11-foot sailboat with the mainsail and jib, which I loved. And also at that point I realized that making puppets would probably attract more business because you could demonstrate them at an art show. So we learned how to make puppets, and I would make those. And then at one of them, a customer came and said, these are really cool, you should make them into golf club covers. And by then I was almost 16, and my mom bribed me, then said, if you make enough, I'll buy you a car. And so I did. My product didn't exist, there weren't animal head covers, and there certainly weren't 16-year-old sales reps. So I can proudly say I've been thrown out of all the finest resorts in Arizona because I'd come up and I'd say, hey, you know, I'm selling, and they'd say, you know, you're barely 16, but I'm selling these, and they'd never seen them. So learning how to get on property and get to be taken seriously was really one of my biggest challenges. The first customer that I went to was the Arizona Biltmore. I talked my way into the golf shop, into the director of golf. I didn't have an appointment or anything, and I just launched into my sales pitch. And I gave him the entire thing, and he was a very kind man. And he said, I'm going to tell you 3 things. He had me sit down in his office, and he said, 1, I'll buy your head covers, they're great. 2, that's the worst sales pitch I've ever heard in my life. And 3, I'm going to give you some pointers and some people to go to. He said, you know, when you speak from your heart and be very, very authentic. Don't become, there's many people who will sell things corporately, and they all sound exactly the same and like robots. Bring your personality into it, bring your energy into it, and deliver it with confidence. You know, so I spent a lot of time practicing in front of the mirror, as well as with customers, to really get it to a point where I was just super comfortable with it. We've been grateful to be on Tiger's bag his entire career, and now we are also on Charlie, his son's bag. So seeing them both golfing together with our Tiger is fabulous. Many, many years ago, the Woods family belonged to Big Canyon Country Club in Newport Beach, and that's where Ms. Woods picked up the first Tiger and then became in contact with me. And then it's grown over the years. So when he was with Titleist, we made them specially for Titleist with the tie embroidery down the back that says "Love from Mom." And then it grew to Nike. Nike's licensed from me for years to create all the commercials they did with the Tiger Frank. And it's just something that's been ongoing, and now we're going into 2nd generation, and Daphne's couldn't be more thrilled to be on Tiger Woods' bag and, you know, have this nice familial relationship that we have. I've been able to provide jobs all over the world, doing something that makes people smile, where our core value is we must do good while we're doing well. And so now not only was I able to buy the car and the sailboat, but we do a lot of philanthropic work, which is a huge achievement. It just is probably one of the most moving, meaningful things that I do. We provide scholarships for up-and-coming golfers through the First Tee. to get them into university, and we also do for, and they don't have to be golfers with our First Tee scholarships, just well-rounded, kids that need a bit of help. We provide scholarships in Golf It Forward, and those are for girls who are going on to golf. Again, that might need some help. Last year I was in Africa with World Vision and Golf for Africa. We built a well. Women in Africa, women and girls walk for water, and they can walk for up to 10 hours a day, so they can't get educated and they can't go to school. And when I heard about that, I thought that's not okay. So I partnered with Golf for Africa, and I went for the groundbreaking of our first well. And that village is, that's 387 people that will now have clean water, and all the girls can go to school, and the women can work. So it vastly changes the community in the most positive way. I think the most successful for us has been word of mouth as far as being a really good company, trying to always do things right, so we'll ask people to talk about their experience with Daphne's, and we're the friendliest, we're honest, we're upbeat. We've treated everybody in the industry really, really well. So they might have been an assistant professional and now they're the buyer for a chain of resorts. So that's been a steady, very quiet, we call it quietly making noise, strategy of just treating everybody well the whole way along, so that wherever they go, they speak highly of Daphne's, because you always talk about your industry. We've been very fortunate with having many, many touring pros, including Tiger, carry our head covers, which has been huge for spreading the word. I think at last count we have over 200, maybe 250 LPGA and PGA touring pros that carry Daphne's, on all the major tours. So having them, appear with a crowd of 100,000 people and they can choose whatever they want and they choose Daphne's, that has been great. And then of course now with social media, people are spreading the word all over, and which is an awful lot of fun because they're just showing that they're having a good time with Daphne's, and we're getting those posts globally. And so it enhances the conversation, it enhances the brand awareness. And then the other part is quality. We're the only head cover in the world that has a lifetime guarantee. We put a phone number inside, so if anything happens to it, ever, and I've gotten 20-year-old head covers back, we will repair or replace it. So, people knowing that, wow, I did this. When you send something back and a company takes care of it, that word of mouth is fabulous. So we try to, really our philosophy is, like I said, quietly making noise, doing good things, doing the right thing all the time with a very warm and friendly way, and that has spread a global ripple effect that really serves us. That happened accidentally because I created a niche that didn't exist. Now other people have come in and they'll copy and they'll come and they'll go. So as far as with people that come into my area, our area, Daphne's head covers, nobody beats us in quality. That remains my passion, quality and innovation. And then something that's so sophomoric, or should be sophomoric, is we do what we say we're going to do. So, and when we make a mistake, we say, I'm sorry, how can I fix it? And we own it. And if we tell you we're going to ship it overnight, it goes overnight. If it doesn't, we would call you right away and go, we made a mistake. We did say this. So we own everything that we do, and remain really authentic and open to our customers and to each other. When we got the very large Tiger order and my company grew 400% in a quarter, I didn't know how to get the capital to buy that much raw material, how to organize as many people as I needed to do the order. And because I accepted it, I had to figure that all out in real time with a customer waiting. So that was huge. That was absolutely huge. And that went on for quite a few years, just learning, where I'd slept on the factory floor because there wasn't time to go home. Really learned how to utilize every minute, so you're actually working all the time, because there just weren't enough hours in the day. So that certainly was one. Then, when our company became rather famous because of the Tiger, dealing with anywhere I went in the golf space, people talking to me and how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the press? How do you give them the space and time? How do you deal with the fact that if you tell them 100 words, maybe 75 will be right with what they print? So learning to be very authentic, but also careful with what you said and being okay with what was printed. That was very interesting. From being able to walk into a big trade show or somewhere and no one knowing me, to being stopped and mic'd up and interviewed all the time. And how does one handle that with grace? You know, so again, I would go and follow people and how do you do that? And if there were, you know, well-known reporters, excuse me, would you talk to me? You know, what do you do? How do I do this? So there's been many things like that. Being able to read the room and people and their characters to know if a negotiation is what you want to do. Learning how to walk away from a deal when it doesn't align with my values or my company's values, no matter how many zeros they're offering or what they're waiving. You know, looking at it going, that's not in my path. That's not where I'm going or who I want to be. That's a really hard thing when somebody's making it look, you know, they're dangling tons of carrots. Being able to sit quietly enough to know this does make sense or this doesn't make sense, and then to walk away with grace. I think we're always growing, you know, and changing. So I certainly got more disciplined. You know, I think I'm probably really ADHD. And so to learn how to just write things down and check things off, and knowing that if I didn't do that, things didn't get done. I've also done tons of reading to always try to improve the next version of Jane. You know, it's this version of Jane, but what would the next version do? How do I grow into that? I've gotten over the years a lot more courage. You know, at first it's pretty scary walking into a golf shop. You know, as a 16-year-old and pitching your wares and all the comments that you get. I've also realized that courage means that, you know, you're probably afraid all the time, but you do it anyway. So, you know, it's just been a process of, I have written on my office wall, it says, don't fear fear, fear being in the exact same place this time next year. And so I look at that all the time and think, okay, what do I do to grow? And it could be in my yoga practice. It could be how I spend more time with entrepreneurs, how I talk to my clients or my employees, always striving to grow and change. So that's part of my mantra. You know, how do I grow into the next version of me that's better in all aspects, you know, business-wise, spiritually, emotionally, in kindness and character. Oh, do it. Go buy the Nike shirt that says just do it and go to sleep in it every night. So you wake up in the morning, you look at it, and in the evening you look at it. If it's something that you want to do and it makes sense, it can't harm anybody ever. And it's never okay to say, well, it's just business, it's okay. It's not. But if you have something that you want to do, go and do it and learn to listen to your own voice and gather voices around you that'll support you. Because when you're an entrepreneur, people go, well, that's crazy. It's unsure. Why don't you get a steady income? Why don't you do it after you've bought the house, the car, had the 2 kids? People get uncomfortable because it's a different path and it makes them uncomfortable, but don't let them project that onto you. You be super clear on what you want to do, be super deliberate, write down your goals, and then just do it. Just go and do it every day, every single damn day. Do it, no matter what, work towards it. And work towards real things. So what I mean by that, a real thing isn't making sure that your office is really pretty when people come to see you. That doesn't make you money. It's getting out there and selling your product. It's getting out and developing the next thing. I don't care, in fact, I prefer that your office is a file cabinet with 2 boards on it, you know, that really be sharp end on what is actually making things happen. The glamour and things will come later, and you know, usually by that time you just don't care. So there's hopefully this will be another year of it. It's you know, every year I learn something new.
Finally, Jane guides us to her office where she reveals her first stuffed toys that she made when she was a teenager, as well as one of Tiger Woods' rare embroidered tiger head covers. Jane's unique journey demonstrates that an entrepreneurial mindset, along with courage and perseverance, can transform dreams into reality.